the last president of the United States of America.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on...
Battle of New Orleans Radio with your hosts Nathan Lawrence, Caleb Hitt, and Goyam on 990 WGSO.
In 1814 we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. We took a little bacon and we took a little beans, and we caught the bloody British in a town in New Orleans. We fired our guns and the British kept...
USS Maine. USS Liberty. Swan Flu. 7-7. Oklahoma City. 9/11. Grassroots movements are rarely in existence. They get controlled and pigeonholed by the very same opposition. I can't believe you ain't canceling your subscription. You fell victim to the fraudulent two-party system. They both owned by the offshore banks. If you don't get on board with that, you walk the plank, point blank. They neutering the men, giving them estrogen. It's Nazi Germany on crack, steroids, and mescaline. They're pirates operating under a different law. Maritime admiralty shit, brother, is getting raw. School children getting put up against the wall for mandatory vaccines, which show them things against the law. Ain't it a shame all the games they play? Patriots under surveillance with some names they say. It's all controlled by blackmail and prostitution. You're about to see a real revolution.
Wake up, boy, there's a light at the window. I can hear someone knocking on the door. There are voices in the street and the sound of running feet, and they whisper the word.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another action-packed episode of Battle of New Orleans Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Lawrence, along with my terrific fill-in co-host tonight. He's part of the team for sure, though. It's Mr. Gary King. How you doing, Gary?
What a day, Nathan, to be on the radio, huh?
Yeah. It's what a day. It is, bro. I really can't believe it. And also, look, I also want to look. That song we just played, that was a Revolution by Mr. Payday Monsanto. We are amongst a revolution as we speak right now, and we have Mr. Payday Monsanto on Skype. I also believe we have Caleb Hitt on Skype. How you doing, Payday?
Hey, Nathan.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, how you doing? Cross-eyed Mary.
Yeah.
I'm a tall fan, and when I heard that one, it's like, yeah.
Thanks. That revolution thing was a befitting thing to play because you can feel it in the air, you know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely. Caleb, are you there?
I'm in the flesh.
That's what's up, man.
Caleb, what's going on?
Hey, what's up? These are exciting times. Hey, just real quick, I'm getting ready to post a new article on the Daily Resistance. It'll have Donald Trump's victory speech, Hillary's concession, and Obama's transitory speeches included. So in case if somebody hasn't seen them yet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that, Caleb, for sure.
I thought that was comedy when I watched it. Somebody sent me the video, but the raw video, you know, it's like just an empty podium on the White House steps there for like, I don't know, however many minutes. I thought it was a Saturday Night Live skit at first because nobody was coming. I had to forward like 8 minutes into the video.
It's really crazy. I mean, I can't believe that they actually allowed Trump to get the victory. And I say allowed because I think that Trump had so much of the support of the American people that they had no choice, that they rigged the system every which way they could.
I think watching this, Nathan, we saw the lid come off, brother. The lid was coming off early, and, you know, you could see the glum faces, and, you know, you saw the lid come off on it, and they could not keep a lid on it.
It looked like a funeral over there at the DNC. I mean, literally a funeral. People were crying in the aisles.
I almost felt sorry, almost. Is the operative word.
One guy pointed out it looked like a cult, like a cult leader died. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It was very, very, very unusual. I mean, if you'd have turned it down, it'd have been a great video for a funeral scene.
Mm-hmm. I mean, fellas, is this the end of these demons? Is this the last we have seen of this whore from Babylon?
I think it's the beginning of the end of another era where we have transparency, at least a higher standard of it. We have a cogent plan for the future economically and civilly and socially. I think it's in the air. The riots. I was telling my mother yesterday, there's going to be riots either way. If Hillary even won, it would have been worse, and there wouldn't have been any sincere, genuine attempt to try to quell it. But just contrary to, they would have. That's what they do. These limousine liberals, all these leftists, is what it's turned into. It's basically like the neocons, chameleoned into, they snatched the left, and they've become this decadent bunch of criminals. And what my point is that Trump is going to quell these riots. He has a message of unity, and eventually you're either going to get on board or walk the plank. Get down or lay down, like they say, because it's going to be it's that powerful, in my opinion.
Yeah, my measuring stick is going to be the false flags, fake stories like Sandy Hook, Boston Marathon, things of that nature. I want to know that. I want to see those things stop.
If they even happen, right? Yeah, that's what I thought about that too. Like, when you see that happen and Trump comes out to greet these crisis actors, like Obama did, because Obama was a player. Just like when you see somebody like Anderson, Pooper Scooper Cooper, talking to these crisis actors, he's on the green screen.
On the green screen, yes.
This guy, he's a player. CIA,
Absolutely.
Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Oh, I think Goyam's on line one too. Goyam, are you on line one?
Goyam.
As the matzo ball turns. Hey, I've been listening to the new album, Murder by Numbers from Payday, and I love it. I'm not giving a cheap plug to him. I usually listen to rock and roll, but it's great,
beautiful.
Man. Payday, I love it, man.
Thanks, dude. That's beautiful.
At first, we thought it was the Eskimos. It's funny stuff, man.
And look, I have to give it to you. I'm a musician. I teach music for a living, and there is nothing more difficult to write music about than political things, and it to be and sound good and not sound stupid. I've tried it for so long. I can write songs about everything, but when it comes to writing stuff about what you sing about, it's just difficult to do, and you make it seem easy.
I think you don't give yourself enough credit. I bet you do some really good stuff.
Hey, Garrett, dude, there's probably at least 400 songs that Payday has on YouTube. I asked him how many. He wasn't even sure because people just releasing them. Mm-hmm. But, dude, every song, there's not a wasted song. I'm telling you,
every word.
It's something. There's a message, and that's what drew me to Payday's music.
That's probably high. I would estimate maybe like 240 or something.
I mean, it's a lot, bro. I mean, it's between 200 to 300 probably for sure, bro. I mean, it's a lot, bro.
All right, so here's the devil's advocate. All right, now we were even saying that Obama was the Messiah 8 years ago. Now we have to remember that. And
he did walk on water.
He promised us a lot of things. Now, I have friends saying if Trump only does half, I'm not even saying that. If he even does a quarter of what he said, we'll be way beyond what we've got in the last 8 years.
Absolutely, man. So you're right. I mean, he has a base that's paying attention. It's a large swath of people that's paying attention and will, to some degree, to whatever degree, hold his feet to the fire.
The one thing that if we can accomplish at this juncture, because we're so close to this giant meltdown of the globe, with nuclear weapons involved, that if we could become not only civil but allies with Russia, for me, I would love to see Russia be our biggest ally, trading and everything. They're a European Christian nation. What is so wrong with why? What I don't understand. People need to let go of all that Cold War BS. It was all bull crap. It was all set up.
Bullcrap.
Yeah, it was all set up anyway. So, I mean, let's work with the Russians. Why not?
And you know what? We already do, because in my opinion, my longstanding opinion, there's been an air of conflict that isn't there,
right?
With a wink and a nod.
Yep.
You know, because these countries participate on many things. It's with the space. They love space together. They're down there in Antarctica together for over 50 plus years with that Antarctic treaty that no one can develop land. No digging and the like. So they do they're participatory on lots of levels, and I was always kind of incredulous with as far as the Cold War. It was just a bunch of malarkey.
Well, a lot of people don't realize we had treaties signed with our education department, with the Russians during that time. So there's so many things.
Yeah.
Hey, turn that up. Hold up. Look, minute. I hear a song.
The Russians.
What is that? Turn that up.
Cross-eyed Hillary. Payday.
Even syphilis.
Ukrainian for the Russians.
Elections to have it their own way.
I said Ukrainian.
Irrespective of the people's will. Who could give direction to what your newsmen say? Eat your lunch and leave you with a bill. Closer Hillary, got her finger in the dike. If it serves to make her more, there's no war that she don't like. She's a thieving, lying slob, and she's always on the prowl.
We are rapidly approaching a moment of truth, both for ourselves as human beings and for the life of our nation. Now, truth is not always a pleasant thing. But it is necessary now to make a choice, to choose between two admittedly regrettable but nevertheless distinguishable post-war environments. One where you got 20 million people killed, and the other where you got 150 million people killed. Mr. President, I'm not saying we wouldn't get our hair mussed, but I do say no more than 10 to 20 million killed, tops.
We got the popular brainwash, all in the state of shock.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. That's another jam by Mr. Payday Monsanto, Mass Hypnosis. Y'all go check out his new album, Murder by Numbers. It is fantastic. It's 30 tracks, and it's hard-hitting, anti-New World Order music. It also has a personal touch on there as well. Gary and I were just talking during the break that, he's hearing about these people encountering a lot of these Hillary supporters that are, just overcome with grief, that they are crying.
I mean, Payday, what do you tell? All right, I actually witnessed some people at a restaurant, the waitresses and the people were crying, literally crying that Hillary didn't win. So what would you tell them if you had the chance?
Ooh, I don't. A big part of me don't want to run into those kind of people, because I would probably say something like, you're crying because a rape enabler that you love so much lost? You're pro-rape? Among other things? I mean, that's just that's the tip of the iceberg. But yeah, it's pathetic. I mean, I don't know. I don't have no sympathy at the end of the day for these people.
This woman has committed every crime. Okay, look, the Clintons' machine, it was involved with CIA drug dealing. Her law firm laundered $100 million of cocaine, CIA cocaine money through a bunch of entities, through banks in Chicago for years. Okay, you got, the decimations of nations. They've just, the Middle East, they just took a crap on the Middle East. It's just ridiculous. So you're talking about murder, war crimes, rape enabling, pedophilia.
Something else I would say to them? We came, we saw, you lost. Here's some tissues.
Bitch.
Yeah, what do you think the people of Libya were having to say about it? That was a shining jewel of Africa. It was one of the most prosperous nations.
Amazing. It breaks my heart what they did to Libya. With the help of, instrumental in the whole thing is Hillary, horrible, rotten criminal Hillary Rodham Clinton.
That's the thing, man. Many Americans we seem really disconnected when we're talking about these foreign lands that we have conquered, the last 50, 60, 100 years. We
got to stop saying we. I know it's a habit. We all do it. Let's not say we, though.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. We got to take back the language, the meanings, the words.
Let's say they, and we put the triple parenthesis around it so we know who we're talking about specifically.
No, absolutely. Quadruple parenthesis. Quadruple. I got a question for y'all. And hey, Goyim, you still there?
Yes, I am.
I got a question for all of y'all. How many Israeli firsters do you think Trump's going to have in his cabinet?
That scares me now.
Yeah, I mean,
the vice president is an Israel firster, for sure.
Yeah.
All I could say is this: if I have the floor for a second here, you're hearing all these famous people: Lena Dunham, Chelsea Handler, Barbara Streisand, Jon Stewart, real last name Leibowitz, Soros himself, another name changer, Payday, Rachel Maddow, Amy Schumer, Sarah Silverman, Bill Maher. I think we got a song we can work on together there, Payday. Maybe we call it.
I got to bust when I first saw this list or looked for this list and then saw it, I hear Busta Rhymes. That's something I used to love to cut. Don't even know the song it was from. I used to love to scratch it. You better move, creature, move.
Hey, Payday, I want some writing credits on this, man. You and me, we got to do a song for this one called Schindler's List, man. It reads like Schindler's List. They all want to leave.
Let's do it,
man. Let's do a collaboration here.
Let's do it. I'll hold you to it. You better move, creature. Hey, give me my space.
Hey, mega shekels, my man. And listen,
let me tell you a reason why they didn't pull it off. The fix was in without a doubt. But I'll tell you what, when there's this map I came across, it's the populated, the final county by county breakdown, red and blue. And to look at this map, I'm looking at it now here. To look at this map, it would have caused a revolt because there's no way you could have a horrible, rotten criminal who only won these little pieces of blue. It's just like these leftists are out there, these poor brainwashed people. Not my president, not my president. There would have been something tenfold into that effect.
Yeah, that's nothing what you're seeing if Hillary would have gotten in. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Right. So,
what's your thoughts on that, Caleb?
Well, me personally, I'm just looking forward to actually not hearing the same old garbage coming out of the mouth of the president, who's always finally we're going to have a genuinely true American voice speaking out. And that's probably the first thing that comes to my mind that I'm looking forward to anyway.
Amen.
Yeah. So what do you think the percentage was? I believe it had to be 75%, and they gave every election fraud trick in the book and still weren't able to pull it off. That's just what I believe.
I'm thinking upwards of that. The popular vote, even that's tremendously skewed right now. I'm looking during the break. I was looking for a final tally. And everything you see, I don't even think Trump surrogates are worried about that so much. The important thing is done. But as far as
Payday, hold that thought. We're coming to a break. Ladies and gentlemen, you listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio. Please support us. Please support Payday Monsanto. We put our money where our mouths are. So please check us out. We're live in air. We're live on air on Wednesday night, 7 to 9. WGSO 990 AM, the heart of the Crescent City, the home of the First Amendment. We'll be right back.
The military-industrial complex not only controls our government, lock, stock, and barrel, but they control our culture.
Senator Edwards, same question.
Okay, that's enough for you.
Three most.
I hate your fucking guts. We will make you sign a treaty and fly all your dough. There has never been a reason to stop. That is no. Give me one good reason to drive. Armageddon is on. It ain't about a matter of fact. It's a matter of control.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio right here on 990 AM WGSO in the heart of the Crescent City. We have got a loaded studio, loaded guest line there with Mr. Payday Monsanto. We got Caleb Hitt on Skype. We got Goyim on line one. We got Mr. Gary King in studio. And we got Mr. Phil, the Patriot, who just popped in studio. How you doing, Phil? We appreciate you coming in.
I am greatly blessed. Who that said he's going to beat Donald Trump? Good evening, brother and sister, American patriots. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. God bless all the American patriots out there for standing in that gap. Bless you all for watching that wall. Now we can rescue the innocent and defend the helpless. I want you all to keep reading your Bibles so you can keep on the mind of Jesus Christ and the full armor of God. And most of all, bless you all for being out there on that heavenly voting battlefield. Now turn away from all of your sins, and God will help us heal and rebuild our nation. Now we can stop abortion and defund, plan, ban Ku Klux Klan parenthood. We can stop Operation Refugee.
That's that heat there, boy. Phil's on fire.
Invasion. We can stop Operation Communist Schools Corps and Operation Obama Does Not Care, the medical nightmare plan from hell, just to mention a few. God bless you all. God bless America. Who that said he's going to beat Donald Trump? Together, we can work together. We can make America great again. We can make America pray again. We can make America safe again. And most of all, we can make America #1 again. Yeah!
Oh, good job, Phil. Hey,
good job, Phil.
Hey, Payday, boy, you need to work on a collab with Phil, boy.
Phil gave me an idea that's in the running. Happy chemtrails to you.
Until we meet again, happy chemtrails to you. Keep smiling until then. Don't worry about the storms, the hurricanes, and the bad weather, as long as we stick together. So happy chemtrails to you until we talk and meet again.
Well, Phil's on fire over there. Look, we got Diane on line 2. How you doing, Diane? Welcome to the program.
How you doing, guys?
We're good.
I am just wanting to make a couple of comments.
Go ahead.
Number one was the latest Julian Assange interview that was done by, I don't know, some European, British guy that evidently went over to Ecuador because they're like face-to-face. Anyway, Assange was being asked the question, well, what do you think about Trump supporters, blah, blah, blah. Well, he actually kind of fumbled with his words a little and said that the Trump supporters were basically white trash and your redneck types.
Ooh, so he's talking out of both sides of his mouth then, Diane, because I saw him, well, by default, he could find nothing on Trump. So he must be doing something right.
He didn't like him. But as far as, that was recorded. It's on the video, and this was...
So Assange said that?
Assange said that. Now, Assange is nobody. He's not even important. He was a hacker, a computer hacker that made him famous because he could read emails that he could get through computer, wizardry. Other than that, he's not a politician. He's not an officer. He's just nobody that came to...
I think he's on the payroll. It seems like a limited hangout with this Assange.
But you have to understand, he's in Ecuador. He's on the other side of the world. How do you think he's getting his information? It's coming like everybody else, through the news media. So what is being pumped abroad, I promise you, is how these people get their impressions of what's going on in this country, which is flipping everything. But number two, and more importantly, is this. When the FBI had to reopen the investigation of the Clinton deal because of the 650,000 emails found that the NYPD found.
Pedophilic material on Wiener's computer. Who'd have thunk it?
Wait, it's deeper than that. The NYPD chief wasn't given a name because there are several chiefs in these divisions. But anyway, he was reported as actually telling the FBI, if you do not investigate this, I'm telling you right now, I am retaining copies. And if you don't do this and do something about it, I am prepared to go public and tell the people what he found. That's serious issue number one. Okay, so the FBI plunk, here it's in their lap, which of course was bad because a lot of the insiders, and if you read certain websites, they're very good because they do have connections to leaking people, which is understandable. And it was stated that what was found would bring down the entire U.S. government. The entire U.S. government. And it named countries, foreign nations, take your pick, most of the ones that are really bad start with I. Anyway, and a lot of the Jewish named moguls, we're talking like a giant, huge can of worms. Well, just, Hillary or Wiener or Bill, anybody, sex wasn't going to bring down the entire government. It was a whole lot more serious than that.
And this is why you have the obstruction you have, because this serves, if it was only going to bring down Hillary, believe me, there would have been no hesitation to release any information. But it goes a lot deeper. We're talking DOJ, the very people obstructing.
This is what I'm saying.
The very
the
people
DOJ
involved.
was fighting the FBI at every corner because the FBI their hands were being tied.
Absolutely.
You better believe all these high-ranking people and officials, the pedophilia and blackmail that goes on in Washington, D.C. is just ungodly.
Is that is that the Department of Jezebel or what?
Oh, yeah.
Well, wait. So listen, this is the deal. I have watched just about every Trump rally that he gave. All day, every day, and especially in leading up to the last 2 days of the election, everyone. And of course, a lot of it is just he's talking the same words to just different people in the country. And of course, hitting the battleground states. Okay. Monday, I believe it was Monday, the FBI came out and said they found nothing in the $650,000. Okay? End of story. It just went away.
Yeah, right.
And of course, the headlines were, how could you review all that, and blah, 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 blah. All kind of excuses were made. But anyway, here's the process. Monday, they say, okay, we found nothing. Monday, it's announced Hillary's team, her whatever, canceled the big fireworks display that we're going to have. That was canceled.
That was awesome.
Right. Okay, I'm watching Trump. His very last rally, he's in wherever on the East Coast. Wait, he's on the East Coast, midnight. All right. That last rally was a whole different persona of him. Everything he said, and you would have to understand, having watched them all, it was different. He was saying the same thing, but it was a done deal. I can't tell you. He was positive.
Yeah, and Hillary couldn't seem to fill up a high school gymnasium with her rallies.
Right. But what he was saying, he was no longer like, if we do this, but it was, his vice president Pence, he's going to talk to you, whatever.
Maybe he got the word. Maybe he got the word that they was going to give him the presidency at that.
This is my whole deal. After, like I said, reading several different emails up to and since when the FBI saw and had to realize what was on those 650,000 emails, which would in fact bring down the whole government. Trump, through his inside stuff and already knowing that Hillary was crooked, already saying he would prosecute, already knowing that, people within the FBI and the NYPD were fuming that this needed to come out for our country's sake. We got a whole bunch of nothing but criminals running our government. The deal was struck, I promise you, Monday night before Trump's last rally speech. The deal was struck to give him the presidency in return for agreeing to either not prosecute and not go forward with all the information that's out there. Because again, there's copies of this now. There's people that know about all what was revealed. So consequently, when the election was going on, which, you know, you've got technology and computers today. There's no way anything should have been held up like it was, especially on the East Coast.
No, they should have had all that.
They were trying to unrig the numbers that were already in place for her to win.
Yeah, they look. We had Bev Harris on there. We had Bev Harris on here last week. Blackboxvoting.org. She's an expert on the machines, and she, was explaining about the source code and the algorithm that's built into the tabulation machines.
Right.
They probably went into these tabulation machines and pre-programmed them at, okay, we got to give Trump 53% or whatever it was, and Hillary a certain number, and then that was it.
Right.
And then it made it work.
Stand by, folks.
So
we are recalibrating the machine.
That's why come 11 o'clock last night, when all the tabulations should have been in, especially for the East Coast, everything came to a screeching halt. You had Pennsylvania, Michigan, New Hampshire, whatever. You had 7 states.
Alaska, Arizona, they wouldn't call it.
They couldn't because they were trying to unrig the numbers because they were already set for her to win.
Hyped, Diane. Diane got me hype. I'm doing push-ups, elevated push-ups off the dining room table, the Diamond Jones. Got me hype.
I'm just telling you, that was the pieces of the puzzle. It all fell into place. It all made sense then, which is why, like
you're
I said,
absolutely right,
they were
Diane.
freaking out over how can we now undo everything because it was already set and so rigged.
Landslide brought
So at 3
down.
a.m., when the absolute worst thing that could ever happen to anybody supporting Hillary, and Podesta comes out and tells everybody, just go home.
Yep. They can't.
My mouth fell open.
Yep.
Everybody I knew still watching at that time were like, what?
Hey, Diane, terrific call, unbelievable call. You brought up some awesome points. Really appreciate you listening. Thank you. We got to come to a break. Battle of New Orleans Radio right here on 990 AM WGSO. Praise the Lord that Trump got in.
Thank you, Jesus.
I don't think he's going to be our savior, but I know Hillary Clinton would have killed us. You listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio. We'll be right back.
You're chilling on Barack Obama. My clique consists of 18 scholars, and I don't include Dr. Cornel West. He is a shill at best, and I'm charlatan and even a fraction.
Ooh-wee. Hey, David, that smell good. What you eating on?
Man, I'm eating on some shrimp I got from J&N Big Easy Seafood.
Man, I had to get me some of that.
Yeah, bro, they specialize in the delivery, catering of 20 pounds or more boiled or live shrimp, crawfish, catfish, crabs, frog legs, and much more.
And how do I get in touch with J&N's Big Easy Seafood?
Just call them up. Call 985-640-8822. That's 985-640-8822.
Whether you're in the real estate market to buy, sell, lease, or looking for someone just to manage your properties, look no further than Paula Bourne with Plantation Properties. She has 34 years experience and is an expert of all of the latest programs available to homeowners. She has been my trusted realtor for years now. So please call Paula Bourne with Plantation Properties at 504-858-9293. That's 504-858-9293. Renovations Your Way. They renovate to fit your needs with complete customer service from start to finish that goes way beyond the job. With over 20 years experience, and they are fully insured, and they support the Battle of New Orleans Radio to unite the metro area in the fight for liberty.
Visit us on the web at renovationsyourway.com or call me, Daniel, at 985-402-5916. That's 985-402-5916. renovationsyourway.com. Mention you heard about us on Battle of New Orleans Radio and receive a 10% discount.
Does your house have a clogged up toilet, faulty electrical wires, or AC or heater just isn't blowing properly? Well, call Herman with Superior AC, Electrical, and Plumbing at 985-781-0418. Also specializes in new construction and covers the whole New Orleans metro area. So please, call our friend Herman with Superior AC, Electrical, and Plumbing at 985-781-0418. That's 985-781-0418.
Want more floor for less money? Then visit your local Lumber Liquidators store for high-quality flooring without those big box prices. Check out over 400 flooring varieties, including hardwood, laminate, bamboo, and more. Get laminate for 69 cents a square foot, solid hardwood from 99 cents, and bamboo from 179. Lumber Liquidators is committed to making sure you receive the highest quality, most beautiful flooring at the lowest possible price. So come on in, see all the latest styles, and talk to one of our flooring experts. Visit lumberliquidators.com for your local store.
Be prepared for winter, spring, summer, and fall with Firestone FR710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whenever you drive a Firestone. Unwrap the lowest prices of the season, one day only at Sam's Club. Like a Shark Navigator lift-away with bonus steam mop, $70 off. Don't miss out. Saturday, November 12th at Sam's Club. Join and save. Sam's Club. Life is better in the club. See Club for details.
Anybody wondering whether or not John Lennon was shot by the CIA in a plot to stifle the peace movement is obviously not paying attention to the situation. Look what we got. Mark David Chapman, red catcher in the rye, like John Hinckley did right before he shot his guy. Something in that book carries weight. A trigger.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. Are we starting to see the beginning of the George Soros-funded riots? There's words coming across that they're rioting in New York. Is that Chicago as well? Chicago.
It's just 100 people.
Well, that was what one number said, but we just had a call from a caller. I don't know who it was. I think it seems like, was that Philadelphia? What's going on right there? That's more than 100 people, Gary. Look to your left.
Yeah, that is a few more than 100 people.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. So I mean, are we starting to see
a couple of thousand?
Are we starting to see the unraveling? Hey, Goyim, are you still there?
It's the beginning of the end.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What do you? I know you like talking about the civil unrest. What's your take? Are we going to see the George Schwartz? Are the Schwartz going to be with us, and they're going to unleash the beast there?
Another name changer. Anyways, listen, where the studio's at, I'm at work right now, but where the studio's at, Phil, Nathan, our producer Anthony, y'all are only about a couple.
What about Gary?
Oh, Gary, sorry about that, Gary King. Sorry. Listen, I'm tired from work. Payday on a local level right now. We've been cleaning the monuments. From what I'm hearing go on Facebook and social media, and what I'm hearing from friends who are texting me, there's chaos going on in New Orleans right now at Lee Circle. They have these signs that say "End white supremacy." It's going on right now, Phil.
I got my Duke for President hat in my truck. I might have to don it and go take a stroll.
I'm gonna go over there as soon as the show's over.
Yeah, let's go ride over there.
Go.
I got my hat "Make America Great Again" too. I got it on right now.
And one thing, I know
I'm
we got
ready.
so many people on air. It's great. Listen, after the show's over, you guys need to deploy out there and see what's going on. From what I understand, they're going up and down St. Charles. They're spray painting businesses. They're spray painting Lee Circle currently. This is happening right now, guys.
I wish I would see somebody, destroying somebody's property. That pisses me off, man.
We're going to see it for a little while. We're going to see the remnants of the divisive message from this camp. We're going to see it for a little while.
What if Hillary goes to Beijing and probably living in Maurice Strong's apartment there? What if she goes to Beijing and then there's all kind of lawsuits and then they show Hillary actually won the election? And I mean, what if they're real quiet now because they have just some crazy plan through the courts?
If she had a shred of, or if there was a shred rather, because she ain't nothing, but if there was a shred of genuine, sincerity, not this morning, she would have made her. I was waiting for her concession speech. She would have made, in her concession speech last night, she would have said, calm down. Let's not. She would have called for, she would have preempted
for peace,
any kind of violence, because we knew there was going to be chaos. I was telling, my mother yesterday, watch out for the chaos.
I'm looking at Philadelphia right now. Right now, Payday, they got a ton of people on the streets.
Yeah,
but how many of them
I was waiting for her concession speech last night. Biting my nails. Like, is she going to come out to concede? And I saw a report that she left early after learning she had no path. And sources were saying that she went to the spiritual cooking ritual that was happening at the time. Sources are saying.
Wow.
And John Podesta came late. Nah. I said that convincingly, huh? You did.
That was pretty good, bro.
She went to the spiritual cooking ritual. Was I the only one waiting for some might have been asleep though, but I couldn't get to sleep. I needed to hear this woman say I lost.
She comes back on stage and you see like some blood and semen on her face that she forgot to wipe off.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's attending one tonight or if she hasn't already been to one.
Yeah. Payday, do you really think that these riots are genuine people so upset that Hillary's not their president, they're taken to the street?
I think a large part of it, she's rented enough to dupe, and there was like this feedback. I was discussing it the other day, and I kind of came to this like epiphany. There was enough money in that machine to rent enough people to spread this false message and get people riled up on an emotional level. And now there's it started this whirlwind, and I think it's organic, but I don't really think it's that big. But you say there's more than 100 people. What's it looking like? I mean,
there was probably a couple thousand people.
Yeah, several thousand, 2,000 or 3,000.
I wonder if this is just funded.
That might just be people walking the street from the basketball game.
We're still seeing funded actions. They're going to keep funding this, the Soros and the like, no doubt.
Nathan and
they're still living off of it, Yeah. There's still, leftover monies, even if they weren't funding it, but they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we attended a George Soros funded event. They were going to lasso the Andrew Jackson monument and pull it down because he was a racist. So
racist.
But we went there. There was no one there that was actually upset about the statue. It was there were three types of people.
Racist.
They were the police, there were the paid protesters, and there were the people that were covering the event with their cameras.
And semen.
I didn't say that.
Blood and semen at the
fresh breast milk, fresh sperm, and and blood.
They're the ones that's the racist, not us, brothers and sisters. They double speakers.
Shit, I'd rather be a racist, a legitimate racist, than be a Satanist smearing blood on the wall, writing all this crazy stuff. And that's the public art that from this woman, Marina Abramovic. That's her statement. In public it's art. In private it's a ceremony.
That's Goyim's cousin over there.
No, it's not.
I'm just messing with you. I knew that was gonna get you.
It's funny you led with that Lenin assassination song. I was just reading this Paul Craig Roberts. I'm sorry, Paul Craig Roberts making a case for an assassination, which is not out of the realm of Trump.
And you thought Halloween was over. The festival of Satan has just begun. Ha ha ha! That's what they think.
Go ahead, Goyim. What you were saying? No, we're coming to a break. Yo, hold up. Come back after the break. Listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio. We'll be right back after this break.
We don't need none of these. Arming themselves to the teeth while taking Americans' guns. And all the time they having so much fun. Just take a look what they done. Just take a motherfucking look what they done. They took the gold from Gaddafi and the petrol from Hussein. Playing God with Assad's democratic regime. All over your Talmud vision, ISIS is seen. But that big plasma screen is a crisis machine. High definition for the Goyim. Holy Hola hoax, Ilya Ehrenberg's dream. There's too many facets for you to understand the plan for plundering opium and lithium in Afghanistan to justifying a fraudulent crisis to attack Iran and finalize the greater Israel by taking Pakistan. Just look at the blue borders on their vile flag. The designer of that thing is a foul fag, acting like it represents Talit or this and that. But I have seen the 1947 Rabbi Fishman map. The greed, Lord have mercy. You want Iraq, Syria, Egypt, and even a little piece of Turkey. Tell me, when will your avarice cease? Time immemorial, you've acted like nefarious beasts. I can't follow your holla hoax dollar score, especially when the Holodomor killed a lot more. I highly recommend it. That rhetoric, you should end it. You're anti-Gentile.
It's the Battle of New Orleans! Radio! Bringing truth to your eardrums! Here we go! It's the Battle of New Orleans!
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Welcome to the Battle of New Orleans. This is the second hour. Wow, what a day. Day after the 2016 presidential election, and we was able to keep that whore of Babylon out of office. Thank God. But it looks like we have a special caller who just called in. We have our good buddy, Professor Fetzer, who called in. How you doing, Professor?
Very good, very good. And I share your enthusiasm that the Clinton machine wasn't able to envelop the government any more extensively than it has in the past, where there appear to be hundreds of officials in the Obama administration who are tied into it, such that James Comey confronted the difficult options of, if he were to try to take on the whole foundation, he would have been confronting half the government and a whole lot of other institutions versus a few targeted or selected individuals versus just standing pat and doing nothing. His announcement, I think, was the crucial turning point in the election because it forced even her most ardent fans to consider that maybe she wasn't as clean as a houndstooth after all.
So Dr. Fetzer, I mean, what was your take? What was your when did you realize that Trump was going to get it?
Well, there were some interesting signs. We can go back a few days before. On the 5th, for example, CNN was shocked to admit that Hillary had dropped between 280 on the electoral map. On the following day, the 6th, Nate Silver, who's regarded as one of the most accurate and perceptive analysts and predictors, said that Hillary was one state away from losing the Electoral College. That was therefore reinforcing. The morning of the election, the first votes came in from 3 little New Hampshire precincts, giving Trump a lead of 32 to 25. That was very promising. Also on Tuesday, we had late poll results from Pennsylvania showing Trump with 48 to 46, Florida with Trump at 49 to 46, Michigan with Trump with about 49 to 47, Georgia Trump with 51 to 45, and of course he would wind up taking all of those states. It was really quite an astounding event, particularly when my own state of Wisconsin added the 10 points necessary to get him up to 274, which, of course, wasn't sufficient to win. And he'll wind up, of course, with well over 300, then maybe 316 when it's all said and done. So there were signs, but it looks as though this was a very much unexpected outcome because in Pennsylvania, for example, voters picked Trump, but their screen switched to Clinton. Trump's victory really was won over election fraud that was taking place in many places, and I think it was done on a large scale. Anyone who did not anticipate that the Democrats would seek to rig the election was simply not paying attention because, after all, the DNC had sabotaged Bernie Sanders' campaign, which forced Debbie Wasserman Schultz to resign from chair. We know from the Project Veritas videos that they'd been doing the same with Trump by sending in agents provocateur to incite violence and create a bad impression. Stanford has done studies that show if the primary had been honest, Bernie would have won and been the Democratic nominee. And frankly, I believe if Bernie had been the nominee, Trump might not have prevailed. We learned, too, along the way that they were rigging the polls by deliberately oversampling selected groups like women, Democrats, self-identified liberals to make sure they favored Hillary. Even CNN was caught repeatedly doing that. And, of course, there was other skullduggery at first. We had a Department of Justice whistleblower reporting that as many as 4 million dead or ineligible were to be found on the voting list. We had Jerry Brown out in California sign a motor voter bill that automatically registers to vote those who obtain driver's license, which sounds great, but in that state, illegal immigrants can obtain driver's licenses.
Turns out George Soros has control of a company that has voting machines in 16 states, including Florida, Pennsylvania, and California. So there were good reasons to be worried, especially when it turned out that the Virginia governor, Terry McAuliffe, had pardoned 60,000 felons just in time for them to register and vote for Hillary. And in my opinion, most disgraceful of all, Barack Obama went on the air with a Latino anchor who was expressing concern for Latinos that if they turned out to vote, that they might have their credentials checked. And he said, no, don't worry about that. He says, when you're in the voting booth, you're a citizen, which, of course, is trading on an ambiguity. You might be there fulfilling the responsibilities of a citizen, but that does not mean you're legally entitled to vote. And it was after he did that interview that we had the reported surge of Latino voter interest. So I think it's pretty disgusting for the President of the United States to be betraying the most precious right of an American citizen by an action of that.
Yeah. So it seems like they went all out, and it just wasn't enough. What do you think? Payday Monsanto, who's also on the other line, was saying that it was upwards as 80% or more of true voters turnout, and it took that much election fraud to get it almost even.
I'm saying even with all with all the election fraud, they still couldn't keep the lid on it, and so they had to concede and
just had to do it. So
yeah, I mean, it would have sparked a revolution. I'm looking at this map here. It says Trump has better coverage than Verizon. Can you hear us now? And it's a populated map of all the counties that went county by county map, and to look at that map, and had Hillary won, it would have sparked. What we're seeing now is just these riots we're seeing from the divisiveness of the Clinton campaign is going to spill over quickly. Trump's going to quell it. What we would have seen had Hillary won would have been something a bit more serious and longer lasting, in my opinion. That's why they had to give it. They had to just, bow out gracefully and give it up.
Yeah, you agree, Dr. Fetzer?
Well, there were signs that there was a tremendous amount of support from the social media, including Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, where Trump's page had doubled the likes of Clinton's 10 million to 5. The Donald averages around 30,000 viewers on his live stream YouTube events compared to Hillary's mere 500. We had events here, even in Wisconsin, where Tim Kaine came to speak on the campus of one of the campuses of the University of Wisconsin, and he drew all of eight people came to see Tim Kaine. Hillary was having rallies down in Florida where she was drawing 150, while Trump in Florida at the same time was drawing 15,000. So, I think that there were reasons to believe that it could be a blowout. My understanding is that they did attempt to rig it, but that you can't actually do more than, say, 15%. And it appears even that Steve Pachinik, who had announced that there was a counter coup to cope with the attempt by the Clintons to effect a coup on the American government, was going to be responsive. And it even turns out, as Pachinik also acknowledged, that most of the WikiLeaks that were so damning had not come from Russia, which I always regarded as absurd, but from U.S. intel agencies who were very troubled at the very idea that Hillary Clinton could become president of the United States. And
have that information vulnerable. Yeah, I mean, the military intel and, NYPD is upset. It's Trumplandia over in FBI, as they say. Hillary's the Antichrist. I don't think, despite the machine that this woman has had, and this woman, the Soros machine and the like, it just wasn't enough to counter the overwhelming Trump support that is real. When this is her, when she's at a pub in Miami on a Sunday greeting 5 people, that pretty much
that's not good.
I said to myself, there's no way they can cover this up, because it's a Trump landslide, even with the fix.
Yeah, I was in Biloxi, Mississippi. It's a Coliseum, 25,000 people, standing room only, real support. And I was actually a delegate for Ron Paul, and I was thinking that these 10 and 12,000 people rallies were a big deal, but Trump humiliated that.
And you know what? This is like, it made me say to myself, this is AstroTurf gone wrong, because they could not hide the blemishes. That it was just it was horrid to watch. And I'm glad it's over, and I'm relieved.
Well, bear in mind that the fabricated polls were a psyop to make you believe that when the rigged vote came in, approximating those polls, you just take for granted that they were accurate polls. What actually happened here was demonstrated they were wildly inaccurate, and you're having a lot of soul-searching going on in the media, how they could have been so far off. But those who were on the inside knew why they were so far off, because they were involved in the rigging of the polls. Hillary confronted something akin to a perfect storm from a political point of view, with all the WikiLeaks revelations, with Obamacare premiums going up, with the NYPD FBI investigations launched. In fact, it was amazing that Bill Clinton himself said, "This is crazy. You're paying twice as much and getting half as much." I mean, here he was encapsulating the argument against Obamacare.
You know, and this is reminiscent, and I'm sure Dr. Fetzer remembers this and can attest to it more than anyone.
Hey, Payday, hold that thought. We're coming to a break. We're coming to a break, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio. This is awesome radio. We got Payday Monsanto and Dr. Fetzer on the line. This is great stuff. Listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio, 990 AM WGSO in the heart of the Crescent City. We'll be right back.
We have finally figured it out. At first, we thought it was the Eskimos. But now there's a strong consensus amongst experts. It's an entirely different animal. If I had to name a creature to maim to make the world a better one, there isn't a doubt that I would kick out these dirty, filthy leprechauns. They run in your place right into the ground, so many afraid to step to one. If you grow a savage,
ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio right here on 990 AM WGSO in the heart of the Crescent City. You are listening to the home of the First Amendment. This is the only place in New Orleans that you're going to hear these hard-hitting guests, these hard-hitting topics. Everywhere else is controlled media, so you will get none of that here. So we really appreciate WGSO for letting us do our thing. Looks like we have another caller and another guest, Mr. Don Fox on line 3. Don, how you doing tonight? Welcome to the program. Really appreciate you calling in.
Hail Trump.
Hail Trump. How you feeling today, Don? You reveling in the moment, or you basking in the glory, or what?
Yeah, I am. I'm ecstatic. I went to work today after not getting a whole ton of sleep, and everybody there was so bummed out, and I didn't want to rub it in, so I just kind of kept to myself today. But for entertainment, if you want to really gloat in your victory, go over to HuffingtonPost.com. I'm allowing myself a couple hours to just soak in all those comments and really, really enjoy this.
So you ought to go watch all these Hillary supporters crying. That'd make you feel real good. I know when I go home later, I'm laying in my bed, I'm going to watch them, and it's going to be great.
Yeah. So what, Dr. Fetzer of Monsanto, what do y'all think about these riots? I mean,
5,000 in New York, reportedly.
Yeah, I would just like to say that's the fifth person that I've heard tell me about a somber workplace upon returning. These people don't know what they averted. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really so in Minnesota they were all crying. Don?
Well, yeah, I'm in kind of a and I'm a former liberal, so I get where they're coming from. But it really, I made this decision well over a year ago. Look, you're either going to, and the white man yesterday said, "Hey, I am voting to save my civilization. Okay, enough of the open borders, enough of importing the third world. enough of the Jewish agenda, and enough of white genocide. Enough.
Amen to that. Hey, Don, down here, we also had David Duke on the ballot, and 50,000 people did vote for Dr. Duke. So, there was people that, my point of that is that there is some resistance. People everywhere have that same feeling and same sentiment. David Duke had zero campaign, had zero money, but was still able to muster up 50,000 votes. So
it took 200,000 to win.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
The only reason Trump got as far as he did is because he is a billionaire. Really, he's the most valuable man in America right now. Nobody else could have done this.
Coupled with his name recognition, you can't count that out.
Yeah, those reality shows helped out.
I mean, none of us, here as much as we might want to, none of us were in the position to do anything. Nobody. I mean, the rally. He had a rally here on Sunday, out at the airport in the Sun Country hangar, and it was standing room only, and there was only like maybe 6 hours of notice, and I'd already made plans to go see my dad on the other end of town, so I couldn't make it out there, but the place was packed, and I saw a picture from that rally, and there was one guy standing there in the Sun Country hangar, and he had a T-shirt on, and it said, "Rope Tree Journalist."
Brilliant. Rope Tree Journalist. I saw that.
So what you got to say about all this, Dr. Fetzer?
Well, it's amazing, but I was out of the loop most of the day. My wife had me promise to take her to a casino in Iowa, and I spent the day there, missed all of these riots. I haven't a clue, but that's pretty stunning stuff. They're feeding off of all the propaganda and disinformation that was disseminated about Donald Trump, where they tried like mad to make him out to be some kind of sexual predator, some kind of massive rapist. I mean, it's all contrary to the facts, and it even turns out that WikiLeaks showed that back in May, the DNC planned to bring out a series of women who had claimed he tried to grope them or kiss them inappropriately. I don't know of anything racist about Donald Trump. I mean, that's a mystery to me.
Well, Julian Assange said that he's essentially has nothing on Trump. And I just want to say, before I was rudely interrupted by the hard break at WGSO, I love the WGSO. Dr. Fetzer can remember this, and Don Foxshore can. The Carter fever in 1980. When we had, and then followed by a Reagan landslide. And then we got to think of the actor that was puppeteering Reagan, the George Herbert Walker Bush. Effectively the president. Is that going to happen here with Pence? Who is Pence? And can anybody give me a bead on who Pence is and what part he might play in this Trump administration and why he was chosen? I'm still kind of confused about that. I haven't looked into it.
Oh, I think it's pretty straightforward that he picked Pence because he's a very prominent conservative, straight right-wing, Republican who had a very good dossier.
He seems like a principled individual to me, just looking at him, a cursory glance.
Y'all hold y'all's thought. We're coming to another rude break by WGSO. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. We have Gary King in studio, Phil the Patriot, Goyam on line one. We have Caleb Hitt on Skype. We have Payday Monsanto, Don Fox, and Professor Fetzer. We'll be right back after this break.
Wake up!
You will see just how you can prevent genocide. Everything you think you own has been lent to you by a predator with a monopoly on terror. There is no competitor. America's a dead nation getting deader. Supine to its sovereign. You cannot audit your creditor. They ship the drugs and run the prisons, etc. You can't find one mainstream newspaper editor. If you get upset, who you gonna write a letter to? Your congressman has been vetted, and so has your senator. The inventors of this creature are fortuitous. They've owned you all from birth for centuries. Ain't nothing new to this. The truth is just too illustrious and luminous. For folks to know who they can trust and who Lucius is. Or any other Rockefeller Foundation. 1,000 points of light, non-governmental organization. All that tyranny, another leaf, and it is unacceptable. I travel astrally indeed. That's what it makes you do. Puffing on this stuff, some people calling weed. And let you know it's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. That's Mr. Payday Monsanto, Return of the Herbivores. I played that because we was having a marijuana legalization or decriminalization discussion here in the studio. Go ahead, Gary.
There's just something special about your bumper music being the guest.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. But look, before we get anybody to comment, we got Mr. Goystein on line one. He's been listening. He's got a comment about some of the civil unrest here in New Orleans. How you doing, Mr. Goystein?
Is it really going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Really quickly, I'm with Goystein, yeah, and Payday, we are going to work after air talking about our little collaboration there on our song called Schindler's List of all the Hollywood entities that are moving to Canada and beyond. But listen, I'm going to listen to the rest of the show. I enjoy it. I'm glad we got so many people in studio. Phil, I'm glad you're there. Listen, on a local level, Payday, Gary, Nathan, Caleb, everybody, Phil included on this. After the show's over, you guys got to go see what's going on at Circle. We've been talking about the monument so much. Last week, while everyone was focused on the Chicago Cubs Game 7, me and Nathan, we went and cleaned the monument, the Liberty Monument in New Orleans. They actually took a hammer to the placard there. Nathan's going to specify that more when I finish my conversation on this. But you guys, between Gary, Nathan, and Phil the Patriot, I wish I was there. I'm at work right now listening in and talking
Jason
here and
Shekels.
there. You guys got Mega Shekels. You guys got to go out there and go see what's going on. Get some live footage for the Battle of New Orleans Facebook page. We have footage on our page from last week's cleanup. We got to stay vigilant, but they're going to unleash the civil unrest, it looks like, from the Trump victory. And although I am happy for Trump's victory, I am concerned. I got a baby on the way in 2 weeks, and you kind of see this kind of unfolding now. And from what I'm hearing, Nathan, they just smashed some windows at the Chase Bank on St. Charles Avenue. So, again, any local listeners, you guys got to spread the word on Facebook. Cops are doing nothing about it, and you got to expect more of that. I mean,
Wait, Chase Bank where? Chase Bank where? Oh, in St. Charles. I got to drive right by there.
Not far from where you're at. But on that note, listen, have a great night. I'm going to listen to the rest of the show quietly, and I'm looking forward to my collaboration with Payday there on Lena Dunham, Chelsea Handler, Barbara Streisand, Jon Stewart. It reads like the Schindler's List, and I'm glad they're all leaving. I'll be honest with you. These hazard rats, as Payday calls them, leprechauns, 109 countries, and I love the new album, Murder by Numbers. Check it out. I like rock and roll, but I'm digging the Payday album. Payday, you're always welcome on our show, and I'm glad you came on tonight.
Thank you, sir. Invite me anytime, and I'll talk to you soon about the collaboration.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Goystein. Appreciate it.
I wonder how many of these protesters are aware that the new emails contain information showing Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Anthony Weiner, multiple members of Congress and other government officials accompanied convicted pedophile billionaire Jeffrey Epstein on his Boeing 727 on multiple occasions to his private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, which has been dubbed Orgy Island or Sex Slave Island, where Epstein pimps out underage girls and boys to international dignitaries. Both NYPD and FBI sources have confirmed they now believe Hillary traveled as Epstein's guest on at least 6 occasions. It turns out Hillary has a predilection for young girls, and of course the relationship with Huma Abedin is a bisexual lesbian relationship. I wouldn't care, except that Huma appears to be her Saudi Arabian handler, and it turns out now that while Comey came up with this late announcement that they're not going to, pursue it to try to save Hillary's behind, it's not going to work. We got an Iowa representative, Steve King, announcing we've got our hands on all of them. Congressman says the Republican lawmakers have their own set of Anthony Weiner's 650,000 emails, so they're going to be able to see for themselves the corruption the FBI and the Department of Justice have been trying so hard to cover up.
Well, Jim, it's very strategic because, after all, Obama cannot pardon anyone when he's not the president. So I think they're going to reopen this. It's only gotten deeper with these, but I call it Podesta's paradise, that island, because that guy, to me, he reeks, he drips, degenerate, and I don't have to read the emails.
He's very creepy looking.
Very creepy. And there's this picture. I don't know what it means. He's holding up his hands, and it has like a 14 and a fish on his palms.
So you're predicting that Obama will pardon Hillary?
No, I'm saying that the investigation was closed because, had she been indicted, Obama still up to January 20th can pardon this creature. And while it's closed, I guess he could do a sweeping pardon, but I don't know. Fetzer could probably explain what effect that would have. But my point is, Obama cannot pardon her right now because there's nothing going on. But when Trump gets in and it gets reopened, then we might have a Trey Gowdy attorney general. We might have a special prosecutor appointed or a grand jury. Who knows? But I think it was a strategic step because the FBI is, after all, Trumplandia. And the NYPD said, and Diane was right, that you're going to do something about this, or we are, after going through these emails and seeing this nomenclature, this pedophile nomenclature, pizza parties, hot dogs, hamburgers, ice cream sauce. I mean, they're using these words. It doesn't make sense. There's no context that can be provided, but the NYPD knows this language. They know this verbiage, and they told the FBI, "You're going to do something, or we are."
I interviewed an NYPD Gold Shield detective, now retired, Jim Rothstein, who's an expert in this area, and he was telling me that everything that I was reporting to him fit a pattern, that pedophilia is very widespread in the highest levels of the government and other areas. And I told him I thought that if Obama were to pardon Hillary, that would nullify any violations of federal offenses. I was glad that the NYPD was involved, that Weiner's laptop and server were in New York City, and the Clinton Foundation is based there too. But he told me that the problem is that the police operate under the jurisdiction of the district attorney and the governor, and that on multiple occasions he put together rock-solid pedophile cases against prominent individuals and that had been quashed by the district attorney. This is why I think it's so terribly important that Congress has all 650,000, because now they're going to be they'll see how blatantly Comey has been lying to them, how extensively Loretta Lynch has been covering up, and the really gross, really nauseating character of this woman, Hillary Clinton, who already would face charges of perjury, obstruction of justice, bribery, pay for play, illegal
and Jim,
use of
this goes
nonprofit
deeper. This goes
racketeering.
into the DOJ and the State Department. That's why they're obstructing. It's my opinion. This will implicate, these emails will implicate people high up, deep in the state.
Oh, of course. Absolutely right. That's why Comey Comey confronts the alternative of of exposing the corruption of the Clinton Foundation. Senator Tom Cotton, Republican Arkansas, said it's the biggest money laundering operation in the world. And get the whole Clinton machine, coming down on him, and many other sources are being more specific in targeting a few individuals or just sitting passively and waiting to see what falls out. But the public, and we're talking about low information. These people out there setting garbage cans on fire. I mean, it's ridiculous. They may even be being sponsored by George Soros. They may be paid.
We talked about that. There's leftover spillover money from Soros that even if he's not actively funding it, he's already funded it.
Yeah, that's great points, Phil. What's Don's take? Don, you still there? What's your take on this?
Yeah, Jim pretty much nailed it. Yeah, some of these emails, they're talking about spirit cooking, conjuring spirits like Moloch. I mean, this is devil worship. I mean, this is, that's basically what what Judaism is devil worship. So
fresh blood milk, fresh semen, and blood, and right on the wall, and call it art. And you got yourself a,
You bring up a interesting a tidbit there, Don. You know, I believe Israel is the most they have the largest amount of atheism. Not atheism. Oh, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for here? I know a very high percentage of Jews do not even believe.
Well, their synagogues are run by atheists, 51+%.
Right.
That's a Haaretz. They're mostly atheists. Now, they don't have to believe in a God. That's not even, a tenet. You don't have to believe in a God to be a Jew.
Yeah, that's a whole side note there. Look, Gary and I just seen on Fox News. They said Hillary Clinton's got the popular vote. This thing may not be over with yet, fellas.
No. It's over. She, Al Gore won the popular vote, and then Bush had the electoral.
No. I know it comes down to the electoral. Hold that thought, Dr. Fetzer. We're coming to a break. Ladies and gentlemen, Battle of New Orleans Radio. We'll be right back.
Poison. Enjoy something that grows out of the ground, that annoys them, destroy them. Let them know you're privy to their thin scam. Stand tall, don't ever fall for the flim flam.
2.
Look at all these Ashkenazim playing God. ISIS is back. ISIS working hard with the Mossad. Know what that means, don't you?
It's getting hard to keep up.
Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. They're running your daily news. You got it all confused. They're mostly made up of Jews. Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. How many more mass shootings do we need? How many more crisis actors have to bleed?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. Man, we have a loaded show tonight. I didn't think it was going to be much of a show, but it turned out to be a fantastic show. We have a caller real fast on this last segment. We have Brian from line 2. Brian, how you doing? Welcome to the program. Appreciate you calling.
Nate, Goya, y'all never have a boring show. You have an exciting show. It's different every week, and it's really a blessing listening to y'all.
Appreciate it.
Nate, I really look forward that with your expanding family that everything is well and happy, and that your baby will be healthy, and I hope you get to see you holding the picture of your child when she's born or he's born.
Yeah, that's Goyim with the baby. I don't think Goyim's on the line anymore, but he really appreciates that.
Congratulations to Goyim. I meant to say that.
That's something to be very proud of. My concern right now, if Mr. Trump goes, not just the Clintons, but with information that's been withheld by the FBI, CIA, NSA, and goes into this, I hope this does not end up what happened to Kennedy.
Yeah. I mean,
this is going to be very serious because you're talking about the vast majority of the world wanting to be globalists. Now we have Trump in, and once all this information starts coming out, there are going to be more than those that are in office in the United States of America that's going to be after this man.
Yeah, I mean,
you're 100% correct. There's already been a lot of Twitters and stuff like that encouraging people to get a sniper rifle and to shoot Trump. It's disgusting. I actually sent some of these to a member of his advisory group saying the Secret Service has to go after these people and make an example of them. It's completely disgusting. And
I think we'd be remiss
when he needs to speak out.
I think we'd be remiss to neglect the fact that the Secret Service, Jim, they were instrumental in Kennedy's death because they did their job by not doing their job. And I think Trump needs a new Secret Service, or his own Secret Service, a special Secret Service, SSS, Special Secret Service.
May I say one more thing, gentlemen?
He does. He has NYPD guys that are tough as nails, but he's getting very good security, according to my sources.
Yeah, that's great.
But I have an historical observation to make. I think it's ironic that Hillary has been undone by Huma Abedin, who was her intern from the age of 19. Just as Bill
she likes him young.
By his intern, Monica Lewinsky. I mean, these are two different honeypots in tradecraft, in the covert activity. honeypots are sexual lures to draw people into or get them involved in activities beneficial to an outside source. And Huma appears to have been Hillary's honeypot. Just
And
as
Hillary
Monica
was reportedly
Bill.
bewildered by Huma at 19 and loved her to death. Who couldn't? I could imagine a 19-year-old Huma, but I digress.
We are men.
Well, hey, at least we're going to have a female first lady now again.
Yeah, right. Instead of
Right,
that,
right.
that demon
A real
snapping
female.
turtle.
You know, I just wonder how many people are still under the illusion that Michelle is a woman. You know,
Michael.
I was just astonished when I began
Michael.
looking into this and discovered she has a package that most women do not have, which means that their children are adopted and Obama is gay. In fact, Joan Rivers appears to have died because she pointed that out. She was
They cut her tongue out. Didn't they cut her throat out?
Where did you hear about that? About that part, Payday?
Well, she had some, the surgery she was having was routine. Jim will tell you about it. I mean, and they basically cut her vocal cords. Come on.
Wow.
Don't say that.
Joan Rivers died 2 weeks after she had a conversation with a reporter who said, now that we've had our first black president, do you think we'll have our first gay one? And she said, we already do. And she added, Michelle is a tranny. Everybody
knows it.
Well, if y'all remember,
I think it was 33 days, just to be correct. But it had to be 33 days.
It was a political assassination, just like Anthony Scalia, Supreme Court judge.
Yeah.
They got him out of the way because they had a political agenda.
No doubt. Well, they said. Man, I lost my train of thought, man. What we were talking about. Obama called Michelle Michael on numerous occasions. At least 3, 4, 5 times.
Man, are we doing?
Michelle's born name was Michael Laverne Robinson, and she used to play football. And she transferred from Oregon State to Princeton when she made her gender move and enrolled as Michelle Robinson instead of Michael.
I'll tell you, I'm pretty jealous of her of his package, though. Michael's hung like a horse.
You just have to live with what you got there, Nathan.
I'm all right. Look, it ain't the size of the wand with the magic in it, right?
I know you can't compete with Michelle, but
it's Michael, bro.
It's Michael.
It's not the size of the that counts.
Okay.
It's a technique.
But fellas, let's not get off course.
We're getting off
I just
course
want to say
here.
one thing,
Yeah,
man.
go
They've
ahead.
been savaging the civilian. They've been savaging the civilian, these limousine liberals, and we have a barbaric behavior in a civilized society, and Trump's demeanor alone stands to ameliorate that in these coming days after this spillage and this chaos, when the dust settles from this. His demeanor alone stands to settle this. They're savaging the civilian. We have barbarianism in a civilized society, and we can't have that anymore.
Good statement.
Right. And
Gotta stop.
all of us conspiracy theorists are going to be watching Trump's back, and they're not going to be able to pull this crap like they did with JFK, just shooting the guy out in the middle of the street. That ain't going to
Absolutely.
work in 2017, folks. Not
But
going
he needs a very high level of protection. I agree with that 100%.
He can't have that Chertoff security because we know Chertoff was running the Secret Service, post 2001.
Yeah, we definitely don't want Chertoff security.
all right, we got about 3 minutes. Payday, go ahead and give us your final
I said
thoughts.
my piece, brother. I said my piece. Thanks to WGSO. Thanks to Nathan. Thanks to Don Fox. Thanks to Phil. Thanks to Dr. Fetzer. Thanks to Goyam. Congratulations to Goyam. Thanks to Caleb. I really appreciate it. A great show, jam-packed, and I think it was tabled very nicely by Mr. Lawrenson. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Payday. God bless.
All right, go ahead and round it out there, Jim. Give us your final thoughts, and we'll get it from Don, Nathan, and myself, and we'll be out of here.
Well, we've been spared a calamity because Hillary Clinton's a target-rich environment. We would have had articles of impeachment from the first day she assumed office. It would have been absolute gridlock. Now that we have a Congress and a House and a president of the same party, I think we're going to see things change. In fact, 6 months or so ago, a historian observed that if Trump were to be inaugurated, the changes he would bring would be as dramatic as when FDR introduced the New Deal.
All right, Don.
Yeah, I think the Jim's right about that. There's going to be a huge transformation, but now is not the time to rest on our laurels. We've been doing that for 50 to 75 years.
Yep.
Now's the time to say, hey, Trump got in there. That just gives us a higher platform with which to fight from.
Yeah, great point, Don. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Now we have to hold him to a higher platform, to a higher level. We have to hold his feet to the fire and watch out who he appoints and who they position around him. Because if they position him with a bunch of CFR members and trilateralists, it means nothing. His presidency is a wash at that point. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've listened to Battle of New Orleans Radio. I want to thank my friend Gary King for filling in for Goyam. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Been a fantastic show. Thank you for Dr. Fetzer for calling in. Thanks Don Fox, Payday Monsanto, Phil the Patriot.
Wake up, America. Soul and Green really is people.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Thank you, WGSO, for letting us do what we do. Y'all have a blessed night. Stay safe. We'll see y'all next week.
The Gulf of Mexico. Old Hickory said we could take them by surprise if we didn't fire muskets till we looked them in the eye. We held our fire till we seen their faces well. Then we opened up the squirrel guns and really gave them well. We fired our guns and the British kept coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run it. Down the Mississippi to the Gulf.